Welcome to Boss Up Babes, helping babes show up, boss up, and thrive. With #1 best-selling author, global influencer, and ultimate boss babe, Carissa Adkins. Carissa is a health and wellness expert and CEO of the 365 Daily Hustle, here to help mompreneurs and career-focused women boss up and reclaim their healthiest life. She is a pro at cutting through the BS and inspiring massive breakthroughs that help women create healthy routines and habits that facilitate personal and professional growth. Are you ready to reclaim your best life, take action, and be a badass boss babe? Let's get to it.
What up, ladies? Hello, queens. Welcome to another awesome episode of Boss Up Babes. I am your host, of course, Carissa Adkins, the #1 mindset and health success coach. And ladies, I have got a really juicy topic for us to talk about today. So definitely grab your pen and paper, because you know I'm all about like busting through these beliefs, these tips, these strategies, and getting straight to the point. And today we're talking all about how you need to be letting go of the ego and tapping into your heart when it comes to bossing up in your business, your life, your health, whatever. Like I was just think like, it's not just business, it's also how we do all areas of our life. But getting real with the ego versus heart inner battle gives us that awareness of choice, right? And our choices shape our life and ultimately give us what we want or don't want in life. And leadership, depending on where you're choosing from, the ego or the heart. So yeah, we're going to talk all kinds of stuff today when it comes to really just how to choose your heart, how to do, things with love, and how to uplift others along your path. Now, before I bring on my amazing guests, I have two things that I want to quickly mention. First off, my birthday's coming up and my husband sent me a juicer. And of course I get this box in the mail, it's delivered on my doorstep, and I'm like, oh, I really want to open this juicer. I'm like, do not send me birthday gifts like almost a month and a half in advance. And he's like, babe, open it. You're going to love it. And I'm like, okay, but that means like, I'm going to need another gift. And he's like, yeah, I got you. Okay. So all that to say is I got my very first juicer, you guys, and I'm in love with it. Like I'm a health coach now, like on steroids with this juicer. I'm like, how many different concoctions can I make? How can I detox this? How can I do this? And I am just really turning to food now more than ever, just to really see like how it affects my soul, my body, and my energy levels. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, feeling on top of the world right now. So maybe that has something to do with it. Anyways, okay. So I said I was going to mention two things. The second one is an event that I am a panelist speaker at. It's called the Sexy Foundations of a Boss Up Babe. And I get the pleasure to share the stage with two other amazing human beings. One, Stephanie. She's your go-to guru for all things like nutrition 101, portion control, what to eat, when to eat it, all that jazz. Because as women, we tend to forget like what's good for our body. So she's going to bring it back down to like nutrition 101 and reteach us how to all eat a little cleaner. And then Annette, amazing Annette, she is a hormone specialist. She's going to be teaching us all about how to balance out our cycles so that we can ultimately balance out our hormones, so we can ultimately live with so much energy and just tons of production, and just get more shit done when we're feeling really good, right, from the inside out. But you can have the perfect meal plan. You can have the perfect like protocol to get your hormones balanced out. But I believe that in order for women to have it all, a sexy body, a strong mindset, great relationships, happiness, abundance, a lifestyle of a queen, that she needs to create a sustainable plan for her to get there. AKA healthy habits, powerful routines, and a sexy, strong mindset that will allow her to be and feel unstoppable. There's a big difference. You can be unstoppable and then you can feel unstoppable. And when you put them two together, ooh, it's juicy. I'll be teaching personally the 5 habits that will actually change your mindset so that you can actually change your body. So you're never going to then need to like hire the personal trainer or to get your 5th meal plan this year, because like it just can't seem to work for you. But really, I'm going to be teaching you that mindset work so that you can take those plans and you actually make them work. So if that sounds good, go ahead and sign up. It's a completely free event. It happens to be this Thursday, March 9th. There's going to be 4 this year, and it's going to be epic. You guys come over, join that community. The invite is in the show notes below. So with that, you guys, enough about me and all this awesomeness that we're creating out in this world. I want to really bring on an amazing woman, an amazing leader, like a revolutionary leader in her field. And today I brought to you a special guest. Her name is Daniella Cotreau. And again, if I mispronounce that, Daniella, please let me know. But girls, ladies, queens, this is the woman who you need to know. She's the founder and CEO and visionary of Heart Wisdom Leadership Academy. And a few words that describe this beautiful queen: magnetic, heart opener. Oh, that one just felt good to say. Inspiring, tenacious, and wise. And yes, she doesn't look a day over 30, ladies, and she has all of this amazing wisdom. So with that, Daniella, welcome to the show, queen. What's up?
Hey, so good to be here and to have this time with you and to share with your audience. I loved your intro. That was so inspiring. I love it. Got me all excited.
Awesome. You should go like watch the video on like YouTube, because like the words are great, but like it's, like I'm a visual learner. I'm very kinesthetic. Yeah. So I'm like, ooh, watch the video. It's just really cool. Well, thank you so much for being here. I told you, I'm like high on life right now, you guys. I have so much energy.
Oh, I get it. I'm a big fan of like cleansing and juicing and fasting. So I know that high, and I know what it feels like to feel on top of the world in your body.
I love it. Good. Wow. Oof. Okay. So I am curious. I'm kind of doing a poll right now on social media. When you hear the word or phrase boss up, however you want to take it, what comes to mind when you hear boss up?
I love that. That's a great question. I bet you get that question a lot too. When I hear that, and immediately what comes to mind is to level up, level up in our leadership. Right? A boss per se is someone who, well, maybe not all the time, not in all circumstances, but ideally they're leading in some way, right? They're directing people, or they're directing an organization, or they're directing, an event of some kind. They're in a leadership role, right? And so bossing up, to me, it lands as leveling up your leadership.
Yeah. That's juicy. Thank you. I love that. Yeah. Level up, show up, boss up, whatever the phrase is.
Right.
I was to my coach the other day, Daniella, and I was like, it's a verb, really. It's like taking action. It's not just like, hey, I'm a boss, right? We're all willing to be a boss of our life, but it's like literally taking the action to get you, like you said, to the next level. And you're right. There are a lot of bosses that are leaders and in that leadership role. So I love that. I love your take on that. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Of course.
So my next then question is, tell me about a time in your life where you had to boss up so that you could ultimately become this badass leader.
Ooh, that's a good one. Just had this juicy conversation this morning too with one of my leaders, and I'm going to bring this in because I think at some point we all have to do this if we want to have the life that we desire and dream of. And that is, it starts with awareness. One, we have the awareness of like, my life isn't working, or it's not working the way that I want, or this thing that I keep trying is not working, or it's not landing, or it's not evolving to the place, or I'm not experiencing what it is I want to be experiencing in whatever sector of life we're looking at. And it's that point at which we have to act on the awareness that closes a gap. And that's like taking action piece that comes in again, right? So for me, it was like, I was at a stage in my life where like, I was humming along, and like I was doing the work that I wanted to do, and I was enjoying it, and I was serving people. At the time I was, running a yoga school, and this was years ago. And people were having massive transformations. I was doing what I love because I love yoga, and I love feeling good in my body. Like I love the benefits of yoga, and it was incredible. However, there was an awareness in me, an intuitive feeling per se, or intuitive knowing, that kept gnawing on me and nagging on me and saying, this is great and you're doing awesome, and there's more here for you. This isn't the end all be all. This isn't where it ends. This is actually where it begins. And that was the intuitive hit that I got. And I was like, whoa, because it's so great, but this is where I'm starting, not like what, sometimes where we think where we're finishing, we're like, I've reached the thing, right? actually the start of what you're really meant to do, of what how you're really meant to curate your life in any which way. So for me at that point, that intuitive hit of that wisdom, I could have ignored it, and many of us do. And I've had times in my life where I have ignored that voice, or delayed too long in acting on it. But it was so strong in me that I was like, okay, we've got to shift things. I've got to act on this feeling, this gut sense, this heart tug, as I like to call them sometimes, because it was gnawing on me. And so I took action, basically, and closed the gap and said, okay, what new actions can I take? Keyword new actions. Can I take to move me to that next level of leadership? And then it revealed itself, which has now become Heart Wisdom Leadership Academy, and the work that I do, which still includes yoga, but it's not about the yoga. The yoga is about the tool, one of the tools for evolving our leadership, for evolving who we are as leaders in the world, not just what we do, but how we do it.
I love that. And I love hearing the story, because you didn't have like some rock bottom moment that shook your life, right? I work with a lot of women who they're at their ultimate low, and they're like, I need to find a new identity. Like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, they've just kind of lost their way. And my story is very similar, right? Like, I had that rock bottom moment. Like, everything that I've gone through has come with like the biggest challenge. But I love your story is like, you can level up and show up and boss up even when you're already doing that.
Yeah.
And immediately I imagine like the staircase to success, right? Like every step is like, oh, this is scary. And then you sit here for a little bit and you like stew in it. You're like, okay, this is fun. And then you're like, again, right? Like, and again, and it just becomes really fun growing. I just love that. So thank you.
Well, sometimes I think the subtler, like you were saying, it wasn't a rock bottom thing. And I think sometimes the rock bottom thing is so blatantly obvious, right? When people hit that, it's like, you can't deny it, right? It's so in your face, so intense, right? But then I almost think like the subtler moments like I was experiencing are so sneaky, and we can bypass them so easily, and they're harder to identify. Right. And I think in the mundane, right, of everyday life that we do, I think I believe a lot of people experience that. And the people I've talked to, they experience that, but it's not the rock bottom moment. So they don't see necessarily the opportunity that's there in the subtlety of, oh, I just had this little nudge, or I just have this voice in my ear that won't leave me alone, or I just have this feeling, right? And so part of, my work and my messaging is to actually pay attention. Those are just as huge as the big, rock bottom experience. The subtle stuff is where we want to be paying attention, because they're just as profound. They carry just as much weight for the change in our life and the up-leveling of our leadership and whatever that's meant to look like for each individual.
I love that. So, founder of like this Heart Wisdom Leadership Program, tell me a little bit about this mastery course. Tell me a little bit about, why you love this work and some of the results that you're getting these amazing leaders.
Thank you. Yeah. So I come from a place of a strong belief that more heart-based leaders will change the world, because we've seen in the world, and we still see it today, we see a history of leadership that isn't from the heart. It's from the ego. It's from, I'm going to take down whoever I can to get to the top of the ladder or whatever. Or people are just in it for them, and there's no regard for the collective. There's no regard for humanity. There's no regard for any harm that's done. Or maybe there is, and they just don't care, right? There's lots of different ways in which we could look at that. And as I've watched, and just been an observer of life, and, looked at history and the repeating of cycles and all of these things, the one common thread that I see is like, oh, there was no heart in that. There was no heart in that. Oh, there was no heart in that. It was missing from the equation. And so it starts with the individual, right? And then it moves out to the collective. So with me and my personal story, I had to look at that in myself and go, well, where could I bring more heart into my life, into my leadership? and where could I lead more? And that was a whole walk that I had to walk out, and still do. And there's no ceiling to that, right? We just keep growing and learning and evolving. And how can we bring more love and heart into the things that we do and create? So all of that grew into a strong passion of mine from my own journey, what I observe in the world, to help other people do that too. Because I see a lot of, we have pain on this earth walk, right? This human walk, like we're going to experience pain. We can avoid that. However, I do see a lot of unnecessary suffering that we could avoid if we had this embodied connection with our heart, and not just stuck living from the neck up and trying to think our way through every decision or relationship or business adventure or, vision we have for our life or relationship with our kids or whatever it is that we're navigating. And so I felt called to help people first make that shift, that embodied shift from head to heart, because our leadership is all the time, right? It's not just running a business. It's how we lead ourselves in our life. It like never turns off, right? We're in leadership all the time. So first it was that making that shift. And then it moved into how could taking someone's heart-based vision, like taking the individual and going, well, what is really on your heart? Now that you have a clear connection with your heart and who you are, what's the vision that's sitting on it? What do you individually feel called to do? And then once we pull that out of each person, it's designing their dream life around it and their dream leadership in the form of a business. And then using business, heart-centered business, heart-based business, to change the world. So their heart-based business would be something that serves humanity in some way, that solves a problem that we're currently seeing in the world. And it's not something they or should do. It's something they're called to do. So they're invested in it. Their heart's in it. Their passion is in it. It's getting them jumping out of the bed in the morning, and it's inherently bringing fulfillment. So I see it as like a win-win all around. The person that's becoming that, heart wisdom based leader, getting to design their life and getting to design their leadership around it, they're winning because they're in total alignment with what they came here to do. And then the people they serve are winning.
Yeah.
And
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What would you say is the biggest, so like you work with a lot of these leaders who want to maybe take more heart-based, maybe they don't even realize, they're like, why is this stuff not working, right? And you're there to educate, like, let's go from the heart first and then kind of go outwards. But what is their biggest challenge that they face, really, besides like having to, like, they've obviously forgotten how to listen to their heart, maybe, and their body and their own wisdom. But what is their biggest challenge? Like, looking like you've helped hundreds, like what would you say if this one person would just do X, it would help tremendously?
Right. Well, I mean, that goes back to the ego versus heart conversation, and kind of theme of today's talk is that has been the biggest challenge and I think it's one of it's part of the human experience that we're here to discover and refine and walk through, is that inner battle. It's an inner battle. Like everything outside of us, right? We create based on what's going on in here, what we believe, what voices we're listening to, what we believe about ourselves. We're going to take action on all of that. Whatever we believe, we're going to take action on, right? Yeah. So we've got voices going on. We've got the head and heart fighting with each other most of the time. And that's the battle or the struggle that I see in a lot of leaders is, the vision, right, that we have is what we feel called to is on the heart. Then the ego, the mind, comes in and has something to say about why it's not possible, why you can't do it, why you're not good enough, why you need more training, whatever it is, but it starts undercutting and negating the vision that's there. And then we fall into this, if we listen to it, now we back off, we don't take action, we're not getting online, we're not reaching out and connecting with people, we're not telling anybody what we're up to or sharing the vision with anyone. And then the vision sometimes with people gets lost or the dream dies, right? So that manifests into all kinds, that root thing manifests into all different kinds of things not moving forward, things not happening.
I love that so you brought it down to like Carissa's level. Like I always use like conscious, unconscious as a mindset coach, right? I'm always like, okay, I'm talking limiting belief. So you're talking ego. I'd say limiting belief, right? Either way, ladies,
right? Which is from the ego, exactly. Totally.
Yeah, it's the negative self-talk, that itty bitty shitty committee that's inside that's like, well, my heart says this, and then your brain's like, no, you can't do that. You don't make enough money. You're not paid enough. All these limiting factors. So that's why women, they honestly, they come to me. Sometimes we have to do the deep-seated work in order for the external to like finally come in.
Right.
And get shit done. Cool. All right. I want to like shift, because as the queen of habit change, I believe that our habits, thoughts, and our physical habits, right, can make or break us, right? Like a woman who's unorganized will always be like chasing her tail and chasing freedom and balance and all that jazz.
Yes.
If you just create the habit of organization, your life would be like a hell of a lot easier. So what would two habits, what are two habits that you do constantly as that wisdom heart-based leader? Like, what are two habits that are like non-negotiable for you?
Yeah, I would say one is physical well-being, because you kind of already went there, and that's a non-negotiable for me, for sure. Daily exercise, daily yoga, daily practice, whatever it is, moving my body in some way, shape, or form on the daily is non-negotiable. And you can ask my students, they know me, like I have not missed a day in all these like 20 years. I mean, sometimes it's like I'm doing something at 10 o'clock at night, right before bed, if I have to, just to get it in. And the reason why that is because I know if I do that one thing, I will show up better as a person in general, but also as a leader. And especially with the yoga and like taking care of my temple and all that, I have better access, clear line to access to source, to my intuition, to my heart's voice. It's just more audible and sharper. When I'm bogged down and I haven't taken care of my body and I'm, eating crappy. I mean, I don't do any of this, but like, if I did, like, I just know that my antenna, would be just like dumbed down, numbed down, and I wouldn't be as effective, and I wouldn't be the person that I really want to be. So that's number one. The second thing is organization and focus. Like I'm a visionary. This is a common like problem with visionaries, or challenge. I don't say problem, but challenge with visionaries is we have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of ideas. We want to do lots of things, and how can I do them all? And so we're like squirrel. Okay, now do this one. Now do this one. Now do this one, because I want to get them all in. And they're not organized in any which way. So I love to package things up and to simplify things in my life to where all of those things can happen. So I ask myself the question, how could that fit under one roof? How could I make this all work in a day where it just makes sense and it's simplified? So like, for example, let's see. So like right now I'm training for the Grand Canyon, you're training for the Grand Canyon, we're training for the Grand Canyon, which is amazing. And it's quite a physical feat. It's requiring of us to be very, very structured in how we train our bodies to be able to do something like that, right? Because we're going to do it all in one day. So I look at my life currently, the structure of it. Yoga is non-negotiable, but I'm going to add in some more training for this. I'm also going to be working on my business and serving my clients. So how that's going to fit in. And so I look at the structure of my day and just rearrange it in a way where I can plug that in so it all fits, it all happens. And it sounds really simple, but you'd be amazed at how many times we don't do it. You know what I mean? Or people don't do it. They just they just stay in overwhelm. And all it is something that simple of like, let's just zoom out, look at one day of your life, make it fit in, and then wash, rinse, repeat. Make it.
Say the habit is physically like taking a minute to zoom out and then to like assess how you're feeling, what you need to focus in, and then zoom back in.
Yes, exactly. Okay. It's like, because we get into this kind of tunnel vision, right? And we could only see like the mess that's in front of us. Well, let's just zoom out for a second and see, out of all the mess, what needs to happen for sure, like the non-negotiable, and what can be put aside, what can be next month, what can be taken off completely, right? And then just focus on those particular things, fit them into the schedule that's going to work and move the needle the most for whatever goal you have. Yeah.
Ladies, she literally gave you like two habits, and I would completely agree with all of them. I would add to them if I had lots of time, but I can say it Daniella can say it, but you need to move your bodies, right? In some way, shape, or form, whether that's the yoga, that's the kickboxing, that's the strength training, like whatever your jam is, just do the damn thing. Like I get so sick and tired of women saying, I don't have time to like move my body. I'm like, bullshit, right? I always call the BS card. And then the second habit, like that she mentioned very, very beautifully was, when you're in the chaos, when you're feeling that overwhelm, the swirl of all the energy of like, I can't get it all done. Stop, take a breath, zoom out, yes, and then zoom back in with like the priorities, like what's actually going to be the needle mover that gets you forward. Yeah. So in the last minute, Daniella, that you have, like, what would be some amazing advice from your heart that you would give an amazing leader that's trying to look to level up?
Yeah. In light of this conversation, I would love to offer this because I felt like for me, it was a game changer too, is the ego, right, was designed for one and one thing only, which is survival. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing it was built for. And what we came equipped with is survival. That's it. And so to lean on the mind, the ego mind, for visionary work doesn't make sense. Your ego's never going to say, go after your vision or chase after, that. Yeah, totally. You should do that. No, because it's operating in survival mode only. It's going to do whatever it can to keep you right where you are, AKA safe. Hmm. So this is why the heart wisdom piece is leaning on the heart. The heart's all about it. Wants to run, wants to play, wants to create, wants to be passionate, wants to explore, wants to go on adventure. That's your heart. Mm-hmm. And that's the distinguishing factor. So my wise words for your audience would be is, if you're looking to boss up your life or up level your life or your leadership in whatever way, shape, or form, or your body or whatever it is you're going after, listen to what's on your heart. Know that listening to the ego mind is only going to give you feedback around staying where you are and staying safe and telling you why you can't do it. And it's not because it's mean, it's just functioning on survival. So you want to go big, you want to boss up, you want to go great, listen to the wisdom of your heart and learn how to do that.
So good. And the Manny, Jenny in me says, yes, girl. Yes.
Manny, Jenny right here too.
Like every major decision, I'm like, screw it. I don't care if the numbers don't make sense. Like, who freaking cares? I've never made a decision based on like a number or an ROI. I'm like, does it bring me fun? Does it bring me joy? Does it like light up my soul? Like, I'm excited for it. If it's a hell yes, then I like run with it fully. Yes. So Daniella, thank you so much for being an amazing guest. I could have kept this conversation going all day long. So thank you. And ladies, if you're tired of playing small and you're meant for more, whether that's in the leadership space, give Daniella a call. Or if you're like, girlfriend, I just need to get my body, my mind, like first I need to work on me and then I can like lead others well. I want to encourage you to book your free 15-minute, no pressure BossUp clarity call with me today. That's a conversation where we're going to have fun. You're going to get a lot of clarity out of. You're going to get a step-by-step like how-to plan on how to like boss up in your life, because no plan is the same. So with that, ladies, I hope you join me next week. I have an amazing guest. Her name is Megan. She's coming in and she's going to be teaching you how to tap into your genius so that your marketing can shine. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to Boss Up Babes with Carissa Adkins, bringing you tangible tips and expert coaching advice to help you boss up and get healthy. Tune in every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com for interviews with industry leaders and powerhouse boss babes that will empower you to take action and live your best life. If you're ready to boss up and work with Carissa in one of her transformative group coaching programs, visit 365dailyhustle.com.